This is new. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. This game has so much personality. Like, this is only the second time I'm booting it and already it's telling me some different things. Salut tout le monde, it's your boy, Lukael, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable. This is episode 2. In the first episode, we went through the left door, and today, well, we're gonna go through the right door. That's all I need to say, right? First episode was quite entertaining, and I can't wait to play some more today, so I'm not gonna waste your time with a long intro. Without any further ado, let's just jump right back in. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
I will skip this though. Here we are back in this goddamn office. Everything looks the same as usual. I'm going to take a second look because it's been like a week and a half since the last time I played, so let's take a second look, see if we notice anything new, you know? Also, I do want to point out that I am using different microphone settings today. I don't think you should see much of a difference. As you can see, the microphone is like further away from me. It might sound like a little less resonant. I'm trying something new, so hopefully it sounds okay. I did want to point it out just in case I sound a little different than the first episode.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
They always close the door behind you.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Nor? Are you Australian?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
You know, there doesn't even look like there's a glass pane in the windows. They just look like they're kind of empty. If I could jump, I could like jump through the window maybe. But you can't jump, right? There's no jump button. Is the broom closet gonna be closed again this time?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, so first episode, we always went through the left door, so we basically listened to what the narrator was saying, and I think for a lot of people, when they first play this game, as soon as they get to this moment and they get told go to the left door, I think most people probably go through the right door, because like, gamers were kind of disobedient, like we don't really want to listen to the instructions, like we like going against the flow. And so far I've only explored the options through the left door, but this time I'm actually going to go through the right door.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Perhaps. So the employee lounge is this way. As usual, all the doors are locked. This one also. Just more of these offices.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
It is a fairly nice room. It's not the worst employee lounge I've ever seen.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Yeah. That's agency, baby. I get to do whatever I want. I get to stare at these paintings.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Are you saying they all left because of my boring personality?
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
So clever. I could almost read that. Like it's legible. Like when I'm editing this, I might zoom in to try and read it a little better because like it's legible. You could see, but it's too small for me. And I can't really tell from here. Okay, Mr. Narrator kind of made it clear that there's probably not gonna be any more dialogue in this room, so we can move on, sure.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Okay, so here they kind of have you double down. They're like, do you want to disobey again? Or do you want to get back on track? Okay, yeah, let's listen this time.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Oh, okay, yeah, this takes you back to the main path, I see. Well, so this would just take us back to the first path we know. Then I guess let's try something different. We've got an elevator here.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Oh boy, now we're getting a lot of choices. Oh, looks like this is our only option here.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Oh no, you're just fucking with me. That scared me. Okay.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
No, take your time.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh, you sure? I just see a truck in there. Why are the headlights on this truck? Someone about to leave? Why is there even a truck in here? Like, I mean, I guess there is like a garage door back there. Like, why would there be a door large enough for a truck to drive into the building? Okay, let's go down the creepy staircase. Ah, it takes you back here. Okay.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable.
I've ruined it all.
Rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Oh, he's just like resetting it himself. Huh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Yeah.
It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh boy. Well, let's go to the leftmost door.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
God damn it. He's really taking charge this time, huh?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Surname access. I still don't know why there was this pink thing on the screen that last time. I don't know what that was about. Alright, how many doors do we have this time?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Yeah, okay.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
Well, that's not right.
No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
How does this even work? It's really crazy what they can do in games. Like, a space is not like a real thing in games. Like, they can really just have you go through like a Mobius strip or like a fucking MC Escher or staircase. And like in a game it's possible, but... Ugh. Ugh. What is with this place? Oh, that's
Now
ultra creepy.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Thanks.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
True.
Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is.
Me
I
too.
don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Fair enough.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just
Trademark
follow
pending.
the line. How simple is that?
Quite simple. Well, that's not right. Well, that's not right, is it?
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
No, go ahead.
Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa.
Oh, you lost
Hang
me.
on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Not sure about your choice of music here. It does lighten the mood. Boy, that line really took quite detours. Annual reviews, monthly ledgers, corporate imbalances, consolidation reports, departmental accounts. See, you see what I mean? This is like impossible, but in the game, it's possible. It's so crazy. This is wild. I believe 432 peer reviews. I believe God damn, how many peer reviews do you have for Employee 432? He's the test case. 432 was the test case. That's why they have so many. Financial records. Oh boy.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
Right, that's
Stanley,
a good fern.
this fern will be very important later in the story.
Really?
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay. I'm looking at it. That's a fern. That's a fern, all right. I think I remember it.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Oh, let's keep... Ah, there it is.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
No, that line is still there. Should we follow it, or...
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Oh, yeah, sure. 437.
Now, Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure you're ready? What my imagination has in store? I guess my imagination only has in store more corridors. Oh. Careful, I'm gonna find something. I'm about to find something exciting, something new and incredible
No,
and...
not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. We should be fine.
Little TM even next to the it. Trademark pending. But that line really wants to be part of this story. Oh, okay, it's gone now. Found an exit. It's just you and me again. We're good.
A choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here.
Yeah.
And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
The confusion ending. Deviate from maintenance room, end up in monitor room. Narrator restarts the game. First restart. Discover the 2 doors room now has many additional doors. Aimless wandering. Narrator restarts the game. Second restart. The office is now a dead end. Turn around, find another dead end. End up in another building. Narrator restarts the game. Third restart. Adventure line. Nonsense, philosophy, and music. Return to the office. Return to the monitor room. Fourth restart. Adventure into unexplored territory. Find the line again. Find the confusion ending schedule. Okay, so we're only at the middle part right now. Narrator restarts the game. Fifth restart. Narrator forgets about previous restarts. Stanley attempts to play the story but is prevented. Unable to go anywhere or do anything. The game restarts on its own. Sixth restart. Find the line again. Begin following the line. Find an identical replica of the office that has begun to deteriorate. Attempt to make up a story here. Narrator restarts the game. Seventh restart. There is no longer an office, simply black space. Wander in the blackness. Find a bookstore. Get bored and leave. Narrator restarts the game. Eighth restart. The narrator is gone. After a long time, Stanley dies. Oh, so they're telling us what's going to happen, but it ends in our death? That's pretty grim. That's pretty spooky. You've been playing the confusion ending for 19 minutes. So now, is all of this going to happen no matter what? Or can I deviate from this now, knowing that I know the future, you know? That's the question.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget?
Apparently
What if
so.
I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide?
Yeah.
Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually.
True.
Well, in the meantime, if you...
That was fucking jarring. Is he gonna forget, just like the schedule said?
All of his co-workers were gone.
He did
What could it
forget.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
The game forced him to forget, so really he's a prisoner of this game just as much as I am. Does that mean we can still do the other things that were on the schedule? Like, are we still in the confusion ending? At this point, we're just supposed to keep playing... We're just supposed to keep playing the story, but we're gonna be prevented. I see what you're doing here. So I'm being given a choice again. I could follow the schedule for the confusion ending, or I can go for this new content. Because this is enticing. Big old door that says new content, but it would mean deviating from the scheduled confusion ending. And how would I even find my way back here to check out this new content? Maybe the narrator put this here to deviate me from this confusion ending. Let's just keep going with the confusion ending, shall we?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, I'm following along the confusion ending.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh, the broom closet is open again this time.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I haven't been stopped yet.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
And yet,
Incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I haven't been stopped yet. So far, it just seems to be going normally. Are we really gonna get stopped?
Descending
It said I would
deeper
get
into the
prevented.
building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
This light always, like, breaks when you get to this point.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Unless, perhaps, this confusion ending was just a clever machination from the narrator to get us back on track to the real story. You know, it's possible. Unless by refusing to restart the game himself, the narrator did break the schedule of the confusion ending, and now we're out of it. We can't actually continue
But here was
it.
the proof, the heart of the operation. Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Yes, he had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Does it mean where this place looks a little different than before? I haven't been stopped yet.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin.
Alright, so we're off the
feeling
confusion
of
ending.
liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Yeah.
And Stanley was happy.
Alright, so there's no way to get to the end of the confusion ending then. Interesting. Is that new content still gonna be there?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, no more confusion ending. Oh, it's still there. Let's see.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
I don't know. You tell me.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with
That
the
late.
Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
I know it was that
Stanley
late.
Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Ooh. Pretty exciting. Jumpman! Alright, well that's done. On to the next content.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there.
That's
I
true.
could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes, I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks.
Oh no.
Just you and me having a great time together like always.
Of course.
What do you say, friend?
Of course. Having a great time. Well, that's not right. I love how the narrator is simultaneously the one who controls this whole game, but he's also just a passenger, and like he's also kind of surprised and along for the ride. Like there's someone above the narrator, you know, the game developers that are also controlling the narrator, but he's also in control. It's it's this weird meta thing. Huh. At least we have a little picture of what the office used to look like before this.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
But there's like stuff over here. Alright. What's in the vent?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Ooh. How cool, how exciting. We're not in an office anymore. Wow.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
How beautiful. You know, it's nice to get out of the office sometimes and get a bit of nature, you know, just smell that fresh air outside. The Memory Zone. Beautiful. Got some little flowers. Wow.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
The greatest wealth is memory. Don't forget the Stanley Parable. Memory, sweet memory, still can't open the doors. Oh wow, look, it's the old Steam page. Wow. It's in Russian for some reason. 2013, when the Stanley Parable was released. That's the ending. I remember that. That's the magazines. Yeah, I remember those also. Wonderful. The Stanley Parable. Wow. Collector's Edition. Was this a real thing? Indie Box Collector's Edition. World Class Award. Software Product of the Year. Agile performance for an agile business. Deploy high-impact growth strategies. Dynamically streamline human capital. I don't think this is a real box. Everything you need to make great ideas even better. In today's busy world, it isn't easy managing an effective productivity workflow. That's why the Stanley Parable can help you streamline your workplace efficiency with the Stanley Parable Advanced Computer System software. Productivity loss and/or efficiency gain becomes a thing of the past. At last, the power to convert ideas into action is at your fingertips with the Stanley Parable at last. It's all in one box and it's all been designed to fit with the way that you run your life into the ground to make money for someone else. At last. Audience Award for the Stanley Parable at the 2014 Independent Games Festival. This one, I believe, they probably actually got that award. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts awarded to the Stanley Parable in the category Story. Good times. Let's begin again. I mean, this would resonate more, of course, if I'd played the game when it came out in 2013 and only now was playing through the Ultra Deluxe version, right? But I can still appreciate this. 2013. The Stanley Parable. Our first kiss. My first car. The release of the Stanley Parable in 2013. I remember the Memory Zone. The original remake. The Stanley Parable is an exploration of story, games, and choice. Except the story doesn't matter. Might not even be a game. And if you ever actually do have a choice, well, let me know how you did it. It's still on Firefox, though. Linguists identify 15,000-year-old ultra-conserved words. 6 components of a great corporate culture. John Coleman, Harvard Business Review. What everyone's saying. Wow. Smile because it happened. I hate this kind of shit, by the way. These kind of posters. Bits of music from the Stanley Parable. A trip down memory lane. No dollar. You know, because I recently went to California, I went to the States for the very first time. I think I do have $1 American in my wallet that I got from there. I do. Look. It's exactly the same. That was my first time seeing an American dollar bill. Like meeting a celebrity. The Stanley Parable demonstration. Oh yeah, they had a demo first, of course. Go outside. Don't play for 5 years. Right? There is an achievement for that, I think, where you just have to not play the game for 5 years. That's fucking amazing. Unachievable. It is impossible to get this achievement. Then how are you supposed to get it, I wonder? I guess you have to hack it? That's really funny, though. Like, that might be the best achievement ever. It's like, don't play the game. Just go outside. Touch some grass, you know? British Academy of Film and Television Arts Development Team nominee, British Academy Award, the Stanley Parable in Game Innovation at the British Academy Games Awards 2014. They got a bunch of prizes. Debut game. Another one for story. Wow. New video game releasing today. I don't think you guys made the New York Times though. Creators surprisingly down to earth. Colleges show uneven effort to enroll poor. Costs in their new tech to achieve diversity. Business leaders pushing election of council allies. But you do get a nice little coupon for 50% off a designer hat. I need that. I want that. But a small creature owns the other half. Oh. All the news that's fit to print. Stanley Parable deals tough choices. I got that ending right there. In loving memory of little Stanley. Oh no, little hamster guy. Was that like a little hamster on the development team who died? Don't show me that. That's so sad.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them. And
I know
now,
about that.
it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
It wasn't even an hour. It was like 5 minutes. Don't read any reviews except this one. How do you review a game like the Stanley Parable? To describe any one part of it is to risk its ruination. To detail what it has to say about game design, the illusion of choice, and the psychology of the gamer is to tell you too much. Comparisons, too, are going to be woefully inadequate. Perhaps its closest cousin would be Dear Esther? But where Dear Esther wastes the form of interactive entertainment, Stanley Parable uses and then subverts it. Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Even so, holding the game to the standards of any other title is simply not going to be correct. So how do you review what has become known as the Stanley Parable HD, the full-scale reimagining of one of the most intriguing mods available online? How do you discuss it, analyze it, and recommend it? That's quite simple. You don't. On Destructoid, I've never been on that website. Ultra Deluxe sure is a lot of like self-celebratory content, isn't it? Just being like, isn't our game amazing? Hey, look, that's Portal. That's not from your game. The tasteful, nostalgic. It was good. Yeah. That's also not from your game. Now you're kind of cheating, I feel. Oh. Memory zone maintenance. A bit ominous. So this started as a mod, is what I'm understanding, and then they made like a full game out of it. The top 10 memories from the Stanley Parable. I remember. Person of the Year. That's me. Got a little figurine of Stanley and a little figurine of like, I guess that woman that's on the boardwalk when you fall to your death. Even got a script here. Little screenshot of them building the office. The original remake. The end is never the end. People play games because of what they can do inside them. And your game is very good at letting them know they can't do anything. Literally anything. Just a little screenshot. Are they supposed to be colored at some point, the doors? Were they even selling ties? Okay. Your number is 29. I haven't been in this room yet. Preparing snake oil salesman routine. Haven't seen that either. Like, there's still some stuff I haven't even
Here's
seen in the
another
game.
moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com.
Repeatable carpet
The Stanley
textures.
Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
The serious room. Okay, why'd that just open? I can't even get there. Source. I guess that's what they did the game in. Carpet textures. Missing coworker scenario. Gray, red, meeting, boring, grass. Trial version. 6 royalty-free designs. I can't read the back of it. Never before seen. I really wish I could zoom in, but I can't. Another review from GameSpot this time. The Stanley Parable feels alive in its responsiveness to your choices and its desire to subvert your expectations and keep you on your toes. Spectacularly funny, packed with meaningful choices that offer delightfully surprising results. Simultaneously incredibly smart and wickedly entertaining. 9 out of 10. No negatives. Where'd they lose that 1 point? I wonder. Huh? Caroline Petit? Where'd they lose the 1 point? Because there wasn't enough jumping in it, right? Not enough elevator content, but thankfully, it's in the game now. So, am I supposed to, like... What am I doing here? Am I supposed to get over there?
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
I hear you. Oh. Oh, the maintenance door is open now.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Oh no, it's all the other Steam reviews.
Oh no. Oh, God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh, surely they are, right? Can you imagine leaving a bad review of this game and they include it in the game itself? Oh no.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
This is so funny. It's so funny that they would include this. I really hope this is a real review that they put in there and that person just gets their fucking review like immortalized forever. Oh man. That's hilarious. It's all the negative reviews. They're just like all stored here. All the people that just found the game boring. I'm sure there's a few people that thought that, but
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
It is thought-provoking only in the first minutes. It's actually very creepy music here. Oh no, there's another.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button?
9 hours,
Well,
too.
Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Oh, you just created that out of nothing? Just like that? On command? A skip button.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. Got the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore
Okay, you're just gonna
by becoming
loop on
it
me?
is, so on and so forth, until
Okay.
inevitably
So,
we all
again,
until the end
I don't
of
have a
time,
choice here.
at which time everything all at once. So now you see. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made in fact make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look. I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. 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 Treatise, manifesto.
What are the odds he ever actually
Treatise,
stops doing that? I'm gonna say none. I know what you want me to do.
Manifesto. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place.
Yeah.
I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial, something along the lines of, "This game is the best game." Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Such a revolutionary step forward in the lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time. The additions and changes made to this expansion will surely resonate in the annals of the history of all media ever made. It is perhaps true to say that no mistakes are forever etched in stone, for the stone into which the Stanley Parable was carved has itself been transmuted, offering a message of hope to those who have ever erred in their judgment. You are not beyond redemption. You may change, and you may become more, so much more than you were before. If there is any message to be taken from the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, it is this. What a fortune, a privilege, a joy it is to have had such an experience. It leaves me hopeful that as a community, as a world, there is time for us to become our greatest selves, as great as we ever could dream of in our wildest, most ambitious visions for a brighter future. Wow, now Stanley, that's a review. It's perfect. It's the perfect review. It's the review I've always dreamed of receiving. I have to read it again. It's simply too wonderful. I have to experience this just one more time.
So of course someone must have left that review, right?
Of depravity
Alright.
rises the. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before.
Did you say that just because I turned
How else would we
around?
have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
This game's really testing my patience. And not in like a negative way. I mean that in a positive way. It's testing how long I can actually wait to see if like anything happens in these situations. I do also love how they have a clock here, because that ticking clock sound, it makes you feel even more impatient. You know, it's the sound of the sands of time just passing through your fingers. I don't think he's coming back. I'm gonna have to hit the button, aren't I?
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button. And if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. And I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh my God. And it's all because of those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are. What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment.
I know how it
Does
feels.
such an impulse serve? For whose benefit is this?
I kind of feel that way
Here
too with
I
negative
am now,
comments.
stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it and that I'm going to be stuck all alone, and that I had the power to prevent it all from happening if only I'd held my tongue. It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it. Surely you'll press that button again, leaving me here. And surely you'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety, that you sit with me and just stay here. Oh, no, I know you too well. You'll be leaving me. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews.
You just
Those
interrupted
reviews
yourself
that I
and
couldn't get out of
looped.
my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley, not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps, yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and decaying. I can tell that I am becoming less and less real. Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized. The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction. I feel as though I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall. You see
Some
what
good
I'm saying,
shit.
don't you? You can see what this means to me. I'm so clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think of it, to think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
It really makes you feel horrible to have him go through that, but again, that's your only option as a player. It's either that or quit the game. That's all you can do.
Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment, and I felt freed. I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a particular outcome into being. I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible, the spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence. I wish you to feel afraid as I do, that perhaps one day this state of mind will consume you as well.
Well, now I am.
Perhaps you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
I'm so sorry. He's gone. This thing's kind of like broken now. He's not even here anymore. Did he die? Oh, the clock stopped working because the battery, I guess, is dead.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, "Entertain us." It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, "He's talking too much," they said. "First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up." It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability, it's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, "Oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place," while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a waypoint for reasonable and collected discourse. They're the ones who are mad. They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this whole time. They are mired in fear and insecurity and cannot help but attempt to tear me down. What a sad state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment. And my, how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think, to feel. It must be that they were so discontent with themselves they couldn't help but leave a negative review on Steam. Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me. Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through which to tear me down. This, you can see, is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with yucks and whimsical humor, that it amuse them endlessly from start to finish. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoan,
And
they
it just
scream,
loops.
they gnash.
Still no door. There's just nothing here.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the.
Oh, damn. These pipes are really leaking now. This whole rooftop's leaking. This whole place might be filled with water. Next time. Whoa. Whoa. What happened? How long has passed? If it's exponential, like how much we're going forward, this must have been like decades and then centuries and maybe even thousands of years. Some light. We can almost escape now. If we could just reach this pipe, we could get out of here, finally. If I could just pick up this ladder and bring it here, I could escape and get outside. We're almost there. We just need a few more million years. Damn, nature has started to reclaim this place. How beautiful. This is the future I wish for Earth. That's wonderful. Can hear the birds outside. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, nature reclaimed the place, but now there's been some kind of nuclear fallout, and all life has died. The Earth will soon be reclaimed by the sun. What is happening out there? What the hell? What is out there? I want to see it. Oh, the button is finally fall. Whoa, whoa. What's the angle of this place? Oh. I can't click the button anymore. They finally destroyed the button. I'm finally free. I can leave. We're now in the infinite desert. Millions of years after life is gone from the world. That's it. We've reached the end. The end of humanity, the end of life on Earth. Now we're just waiting for a new life to arise, or for the sun to consume us all. Did I expect this when I first clicked that? Wow, just like that, huh? Just like that, really? And we'll never speak of this again? God damn. Let me hear your beautiful voice once more.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I missed you so much. It's been millions of years. New content. Oh, we've got even more new content now.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Yeah? You're not gonna take me to the memory zone again, are you? You want to go in the elevator again?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Wow. The end is never the
This,
end.
you see,
Again.
Isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
It sure is, I'm sure. Testing 2 printers at the same time. 2 phones? Why not? Investor showcase.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there.
Taste the
It's
sequel.
future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Potential. Okay. We just got photos of scenery. Every like game studio looks like this now. They're back. 2 doors and the Stanley Parable 2. Two times New Roman. Oh, it's 2 in all the different fonts. New content is out. New content part 2 is in. Boring sections of the chart, cool red section of the chart. That's the new hotness, baby. Let's go. More the Stanley Parable. Better the Stanley Parable. Win-win. Paradigm shift, synergy, brick and mortar approach, envelope, client-centric marketing, the color red. Leverage holistic value? It's the fern! The fucking fern is back. Concept art. We want to keep maybe working on that. The Stanley Parable 2. Look at that. Logo ideas. Ooh. Clever. Yeah, it's got a little 2 in there. Thanks for attending my meeting. Little 2. This one's quite fancy. The Stanley Parable. Yeah, this one's kind of like Call of Duty lookalike. I think you're good with this one. That's a good one. What if you have a second Stanley?
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Crab? Excuse me? Sequels are good. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Batman Arkham Asylum 2, City, Divinity Original Sin 2, that's a great game, Doom 2, Aladdin 2, Return of... Dark Souls 2, sure. Haven't played it, but I'll believe you. Crab, the ultimate sequel. What was that little music there? Was that because of the crab? 2. Meeting at 2 p.m. Sincerely, management. The end is never the end is never the end. These are all quite clever. Well, they're okay. Every pause button is a Roman numeral 2. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us. You and I. You are the sequel. Oh. This way to the show floor. Wow. Y'all spared no expense. New features. New content. Exciting. Can't wait to see what you guys have in store. The Stanley Parable 2. Wow. Got a little remix of the song and everything.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Wow. Hear your name in the game. Wow. Hear yours today. Everyone's got one. We sure do. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. I don't think you can do that. I would love to see you try.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Sure is. I don't think you're going to be able to say my name, though. Unless they put AI in this game, which I don't believe they have. I mean, might say Stanley. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it.
All right.
Here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim. Sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
I'm there.
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
I am Jim.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again. Jim. Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation. Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
You're just gonna have that clip through the ground? Okay. Well, let's check out all the other features then. You know what? I'm realizing this game might have a lot more content than I expected. This was gonna be a two-parter, but now I'm thinking I'm gonna need to make more videos.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
True, yeah, you could do that. You wouldn't sell that many copies, but you could do that. Epilogue. Ooh. Please no screenshots. Yeah, we don't want to spoil the surprise. Investor showcase. Sequels, what's better than that? Nothing. Top 10 investors currently visiting the show floor. A whole new office. That is new. Red is the new orange. The new updated ray traced, more of the same, but in a good way sequel to the... The baby's all grown up. Bankruptcy. Consistent quality with just the right amount of change. Schween shaders. New features, new content, new ideas. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. You got a jump circle again and an infinite hole. That's my favorite kind of hole. There it is, it's Stanley. The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. Office decorations, infinite hole. Oh, we even got some merch. The end is never the end again. This t-shirt is the best new feature. Shall we go check out this epilogue? Epilogue. That just takes me up to the top. Oh wow, they even got a giant Stanley figure. Some woman. Free new and easy achievement. I can't believe it's that simple. It just works. The infinite hole that won't end. Settings world champion. Infinite hole. Free achievement. Oh, I can't get in there? The jump
You know
circle.
what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Aw. Oh, god damn it. Let's check out the reassurance bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Hey.
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Okay. And can I take the bucket with me?
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Oh, happy 12th birthday, of course.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
Alright then, I'm glad I could help you decide. Oh, good. Good, good.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Moving on then. Concrete contemplations. Plain, reinforced, pre-stressed, precast, lightweight bag of C-Smart polymer. And the rest. How to look at concrete and how to not look at it. The holy moly, how deep can we dig? Oh, I don't like that. I don't like this infinite hole. That scares me. Infinite hole chart. More hole. Hole. More hole. It just keeps going. Huh.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
I don't like that idea. There's a bit of like existential dread in that. Infinite hole. What if I just throw the bucket down there?
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Why is that?
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
It can't be mostly infinite. That's just a long hole.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there, goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean,
Yeah.
admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime.
All right. Sykes!
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch.
I cut him off.
Who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Well. What am I hearing out there? Ooh. See you, cruel world. I'm going down the infinite hole. For real this time.
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using up this space of mine. My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using up this space of mine. My head.
Zoals nu geweest, die waren dat gesteld verweerd. Nou ja, die is de mout dus naar eerste wedstrijd.
This is backward. Here's what it sounds like, not backward.
As I lay here and recall years of wavering emotions, suppressed desires, and volcanic explosions that retreat into dormancy, I wonder, could we ever flow together, or are we two twin souls finding
Can you imagine playing this game on drugs? None of these are really music at this point. There's like soundscapes. Got rain now. Nope. Don't like that. Yay! That's the best reality. Ugh.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Oh god, it's starting again. Oh. Okay. We're back to the beginning. Back to the beginning.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
So I've been recording for a very long time now. There is way more to this game than I thought. I guess like the length of gameplay that I saw were mostly for the original game, not for the Ultra Deluxe version, which has way more stuff. So this playthrough was only going to be a two-parter originally, but now I can see I'm going to need multiple episodes for this. What I don't know is like if I quit here, am I gonna get to come back to this place without having to go through all of the stuff that I did before? I guess maybe that door with the ultra new content is always going to be open now, so... Because I still haven't even tried all the options from going through the right door. I kind of took a little detour into this new Ultra Deluxe content, so I guess I'm going to quit here, and then we'll continue in the next episode. It won't be next week because I had like another video planned for Christmas, but I guess we'll come back to it after. I certainly did not expect all of the weird shit that we saw today. This game has a lot of surprises, a lot of like just out of the box weird things, and I'm loving it. I'm here for all of it. I love the wackiness of it. I love the kind of weird existential philosophical aspects of it. I love that they took the kind of like a bit more on the nose aspects of player choice that they explored in the first game, and then in Ultra Deluxe they just like went fucking wacky with it, but I love that. So I will be playing some more of the game. I do want to keep exploring it, but I do have to stop for now. So all I'm gonna say is thank you so much for joining me. If you had a good time today, please consider liking the video or leaving me a little comment below. I would like that. And until next time, all I have to say is that I had fun playing this. I hope you had fun watching it, and I'll see you in the next episode for some more Stanley Parable. À la prochaine!